A very good afternoon to you all. Hope I find you well. So today I would like to introduce our topic and our course, which is Sports Scientific Strength and Conditioning. Many wonder what Sports Scientific Strength and Conditioning is because it's something that is new within the industry. Strength and conditioning is something that is common. Usually they call it fitness, and it's usually related to the fitness trainers. But the question that always comes from many is what is Sports Scientific Strength and Conditioning? So today we'll just do an introduction. As you know, we've been running this course from major sports consultants company point of view for the past 3 years. So I will just look a bit into the definition of Sports Scientific Strength and Conditioning. Sports Scientific Strength and Conditioning, it is in the anatomical and the physiological development of athletes for elite performance. The anatomical and the physiological development of athletes for elite performance. So why coming up with those words, anatomical, physiological development of athletes for elite performance? After there was a lot of research and the possibility of limitations on the ability of human beings, sports science came. Remember some years ago, there is a time when the then scientists would say that it is impossible for a person to run within maybe 9 seconds, which Usain Bolt, and it's now the order of the day across Africa, which most players and athletes are doing. And there was specific ages of retirement. When a player maybe reaches 31, 32, 33, they will get into retirement. But now we have got players like Cristiano Ronaldo that can get to 35, 36, still at peak and high level. How did that come? It is mainly because of the application of the scientific principles within training. So when we speak of sports scientific strength and conditioning, the anatomical, it is, if you come back to the basic definition of anatomy, it is the structure and organization of the human body. But to make it easy, when you look at a player, when you look at an athlete, what you see is what is anatomy. For example, if someone is built up, you say, okay, fine, this one can be a good sprinter, or can be able to play rugby, or can be able to play that position. Or maybe when you speak of functional screening, you can say that if someone is taller, maybe he can be a very good defender, he can be a good goalkeeper, and etc. But what are you looking at? You're looking at the anatomical, you're looking at the frame of a specific player, of a specific athlete. So from that, you're coming up with the first point of saying that maybe this one can be able to give me results. So that's the anatomical. Then and the physiological. Physiological, it is the ability within an individual. You want to see how the human body operates, their abilities. There's someone maybe he's tall, he's big and etc., but he's not able to execute specific skills that you desire for a sport. So you also have to go to what you call the functional screening that are related to the activities that you want that player to do. So when you say the anatomical, you looked at the body, at the starting point that, okay, fine, when I'm recruiting certain kinds of players, let's say you're recruiting for the academy, and you're saying that, okay, I need size as a foundation, which most people in Europe also, they use. That's why you see there are no much of smaller players in Europe. They look at that anatomical. Then the physiological, the advantage of the physiological, it can be developed. That's when now we usually touch on areas like motor skills, they can be developed. The biomotor abilities, where you look at the endurance, the strength, the coordination, the flexibility, the speed, and etc. Those can be developed after you have seen what you want. So when you look at the anatomical and you go also to the physiological, you assess the physiological, you can see if the possibility of going and the ability to go through the elite performance. Because elite performance, it takes time for you to be able to come up with a professional player. Science says it takes at least 10,000 hours of periodized training to come up with an elite player. That's at least 10,000 of periodized training, not just 10,000 hours. Because if you just come and say 10,000 hours, there are a lot of kids that plays in the street since they were young, but the challenge is that maybe what they've been doing have nothing to do with maybe the demands profile of that particular age, because each and every stage within high performance, they've got specific things that have to be done. So now we are looking at those two aspects, the anatomical, the physiological. The anatomical and the physiological development for athletes for elite performance. How do you know that? How do you come up with that? It falls also in different stages because it have to go according to the age of an athlete. Yes, because all our athletes, whether soccer player, athletics, rugby, and etc., they are all athletes. So you have to look at age groups. For example, for younger generation, you see in our level 2 where we speak about functional screening. Functional screening is something that is very important. That shows you the pointers and what can be done to the players, the athlete, as time goes on. So the functional screening can help you when you are doing that selection of the future stars. And secondly, you have to look at, for example, if you're dealing with high performance ages. High performance ages was speaking maybe at 16 years and going up, but it depends on a number of factors. For example, like there are early growers and late growers. So some of the late growers can fall under, the early growers, they can fall under high performance, while the late growers can take time to grow. But that's where, when that principle I spoke about earlier applies. If you cannot measure it, you cannot train it. The testing and measurements, the understanding of the state of a player. After testing and measurements, you develop interventions program. So in this course, we'll be touching mainly on that particular area, the testing and measurements of the players. How do you develop interventions program, and also the periodization. We'll try to introduce some of those before they start. The periodization, how do you plan for the season, from the general preparation phase, the preseason, the starting of the season, the transition, half season, up to the end of the season. I hope you'll be able to be opened up as you go through this course, and you'll be able to go back a different person. Thank you very much, and enjoy the course, and see you as we present the next topic.